All right, so this is episode 10 of the podcast, and tonight we have a super cool guest. We got a 2-for-1, but also 1-for-1. We got Tailor Raid as the Instagram page that some of you might be familiar with, and also Air Overland, the gentleman that runs Tailor Raid, has his own business. So we will dive into both of those, and if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, man, have at it.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I'm John. Like Derek already said, I own Air Overland and I co-own Tailor Raid. Been in the Army for a while, and started making gear, and here we are. That's
Awesome.
about it. Yeah, sorry.
No worries. And we'll dive into both of those as we go on. So to start with, I learned about you through Tailor Raid first. I hadn't run across Air Overland at that point, and then I think Paul was the one that told me about your actual business.
Right.
But if you guys aren't familiar with Tailor Raid, and even if you are, there's a little bit of mystery behind it, right? So
Yeah.
you through Tailor Raid are kind of doing a lot of what my original goal was, or not even my original goal, but kind of the end of 2020 goal to highlight and bring attention to the dudes that are making gear, and some of the smaller or newer businesses, right? Like not the Eagles and the Paracletes and the Tactical Tailors, but like you and Paul and Cattail and all those guys that are making their own thing and doing it basically from their house. So how did you come up with the idea for Tailor Raid?
So began taking sewing or tailoring a little bit more serious at the end of last year. And when you get into that, you have to look out for mentorship. And I mean, if you're trying to get into it, that's a good point. If you're trying to get into making your own gear, I suggest doing your homework, doing some research. And there's plenty of dudes like myself and like Paul, who are willing to help. It's not it's not as competitive. I don't feel like it's competitive. I think it's more or less like if dudes want to make gear, there's dudes out there that are willing to help. So I got hooked in with Paul from Longship, and then I think one day we were talking, and I was driving down the road, and I like golfing, and I always thought it'd be cool to make a line for Air Overland called the Tailor Raid production or product, and it would just be like stuff that we would use in the infantry to do raids. So your 3 mag pouches, your bang pouches, stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. So I'm driving down the road. I'm like, man, it'd be cool to just get all these dudes linked in because I'm always DMing like 2 or 3 of these guys. And I'm like, what if we just had one chat that, we all just spoke together? Because it would be like I'd be talking to Han, and Han would be like, yo, ask Paul. And I'm like, man, if we were just all in one spot. So texted Paul, and I think I said like something like, hey, I want to build a group. What do you think? And I think he said it was good, like cool. And I was like, you want to go on this journey with me? And he was like, yeah, I guess. And then I was like, cool, the page is already made and I'm sending you a request. So yeah, it started out like that. And we just thought it'd be cool to, it's kind of like our own little group. So we took guys that we like to talk to anyway. And we talk via chat on the Instagram, and we just brought them all in one spot, and then offered them the opportunity to, because we are small, so the opportunity to showcase their work on another platform for people that don't understand how Instagram works. So the more Instagram sees your name or a certain hashtag, the more volume, or the more the analytics pick that up, and they show it more often. So when you see a hashtag like sew and raid, yeah, it's a Tailor Raid hashtag, but if everybody's using it, then it becomes a trending hashtag. And so it helps the guys out gaining followers and getting notoriety. And I think, yeah, I mean, so far it's been good. The chat room for the people that don't understand what Tailor is, and I think that was your initial point, is it's a group of us that if you want something made, you could DM us. It's not saying that it's going to happen. I don't think there has been many things made, but we'll try to like link you to the right spot. So if you're talking to the Tailor page, you're either talking to me or one of the other admins. I don't want to say everybody. And basically, we have a few chat rooms within that group of friends, and we just take what you want, and I post it up, or one of us posts it up in that in our jobs listing, and if somebody picks it up, they'll contact you. Otherwise, if you're, it's funny because we were talking about this before the show. Like a lot of people are hitting us up, and you know, if we say no, it's probably because the rest of the group that you see on that profile has already went through it. So it's just that we get overlapping requests. So hit everybody up, man. I mean, do your thing, because we want to help you out getting the gear. But for the most part, if Tailor came back and said no, or if I or Paul or somebody else said no, nobody wants it, or nobody can do it, you're going to have to get somebody else, then it's more than likely that whole profile, the whole, all the groups, all the pages in that profile have already looked at it. So that just helps you out narrowing it down. And that's basically what we wanted to build, like just a small community that if people wanted a niche product made, we could try to help you get it. So yeah, that's Tailor.
And for those of you listening in, like if you're new to there's no good name for like how to classify you guys, right? But if you're new to
Mafia.
yeah, if you're new to the idea of like custom gear or smaller shops, if nobody picks up your idea, like there's probably a good reason why.
Yeah.
So reevaluate that. But like it is hard to find folks like you through Instagram if you don't already have an avenue to go down, right? So
Yeah.
when I started the kind of the year of the small guy hashtag last year, and was trying to find folks like you to buy stuff from and to showcase, like it's not easy. If you try like the custom gear hashtag or something, for some reason you get like a ton of sneakers, and it's
Yeah.
they're not custom sneakers. I don't even understand it.
Right.
So like the power of that tool that you've created is pretty insane. Like to be
Yeah.
able to send one basically purchase request and it get bounced off of all of you is like, if you can't see the value of that tool, it's because you've never tried to find something before.
Yeah. And I think you brought up a good point where you know, it really has, it's nothing personal for the most part. If the guys don't want to make it, there's a bigger reason. And like just to go over some of them, I'm not speaking for everybody in that group. So
Yeah.
let's just right now, disclaimer, it's just how I feel about it and what I've seen. So the big issue, right? So I don't know. I don't have any material. Cordura, right? 1,000 denier Cordura, very compliant. If you want to get crazy with it, I mean, you're looking at $15 to $20 a yard.
Yep.
For us to buy, right? So when you're buying custom gear, you can't expect tactical Tailor prices. It's just not going to happen. It's not feasible for us, and yeah. And I think some people get a misconception because we're in the Amazon generation, right?
Yep.
So really, I think I could pick up my phone right now, grab my phone, and I could buy some, you know, bulk made gear from China. Actually, I have one right here. You could buy something like this from China. Paul, shout out to Paul, right? For like $40, right? And I guess you could run it for airsoft and do your thing. But That's the quality you're getting. You're getting a $40 piece of equipment that probably got ran together by somebody who doesn't care about customer service because they'll never know you, they'll never see you. It's not a name behind it. Um, I mean, for every crappy piece of gear that they make, there's 1,000 more behind it. So they don't care. Every stitch that our guys put into your product is seen by that guy. Like it's very personable. So you're paying for the personable like product, right? So all my orders that I have, like I'm literally DMing that guy and saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" As I make something new on his piece of kit, or "Hey, I didn't get the right zipper. Just give me a sec." Like you're not going to get that from the big retailer. Um, yeah, it's just it comes down to cost, what we're doing, the kind of product you're going to get, and then the customer service. And if you can't, yeah, if you don't find the value in that, I don't know what to tell you. So no, we can't make you a micro kit or micro rig for $40. It's not going to happen. It's literally not feasible. So if people could get past that and understand what they're buying is a handmade product, and it costs us a ton of money because I can't just go out and buy 1,000 yards of Cordura and make it cheap enough to build that product like some of these other places can do. It's just, again, not feasible. So know when you come to us, when you come to one of us, what you're actually paying for. You're not just paying for some dude to slap something together, throw it in a bag, and put it in your mailbox. You're paying for a dude to take his time. Like for most of us, we're like family dudes. We have a full-time job, so we're taking our time out of our day to build a good product for you, which is what we want to do, right? But it costs money, and the value the value of that is huge. And then the other thing is lead times. We'll talk about lead times real quick
Yep.
for people that don't understand lead times. So lead time is I have products in the queue. It is me. It's just me. It's 2 sewing machines. It's 1 cutting table. I don't have 50 tables in front of me with people who just make one part and it goes down an assembly line. So each piece, again, is tailored for you. So it takes time, and it takes time, and you're not the only customer we have. So again, if you want that cheaply made product, or you want to wait till some of these bigger names are finally in stock, then go do that. But understand, when you get our product, every stitch is looked at by us, and that I think you're going to get a better customer service. You're going to get a better value. It's just all around a better product. And when you support us, you're not just supporting a big CEO and his company. You're supporting me. You're supporting my daughter going to tumbling. You're supporting, just you're supporting my small family. So support small businesses, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, which is a lot of the reasons why I enjoy talking to you guys, working with you guys, buying stuff from you guys. Like the the idea that the person that made your stuff, like even if it's your product, your thing that you post on the website, and I have no control over what that thing is, the colorway or how it's designed, like I still know the human being that made it, right? So that's
Yeah.
cool at a surface level. And then when you take it the next step and you're like, all right, now as an end user, I have an idea that I would like to see come to fruition, and I know that it's not going to get picked up by a big company because it's just kind of an obscure need. To be able to work through the design with one of you guys and get the piece of kit that I want made by a human being that I can recognize by name and know that like they're basing their reputation on it, like that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, so like, yeah, every product that comes out of my house and gets put in my mailbox is, that is my reputation, right? And but with that, I would like to put out that you are getting a handmade product,
Yeah.
And if every stitch was perfect, I'd be a little bit more worried. Uh, with that said, like there is guys like Why Am I Tactical who is gonna, he's gonna rip his stuff apart like 4 times over just to have that perfect stitch, and that's awesome, and that's why he's a homie of mine. But like you have to understand there's human interaction with it, and every stitch doesn't have to be perfect to make that piece of equipment operate the exact way you want. And then the other thing is understand that, do you need custom or do you need like something that's already produced?
Yeah.
So when you come out and you say, hey, I need a custom piece of equipment, I would say do your research, make sure nobody's already doing it, because if you needed it, probably somebody else needed it, or there's another way or a better way to do exactly what you want. But with that, understand that like the dudes who most of these guys are either operational or have buddies who are operational. Like Paul and I like bounce ideas off of dudes who we do things in the Army, that give us the opportunity to test our gear to like the peak. So if it works for me, it's going to work for you. Like I just did the dangler, which is just a glove holder. It just rips through your molly. But like that was probably one of the ones that I messed with for a while because I hate stuff dangling on my kit. And actually, fun fact, I barely have any custom stuff on my own kit, which is super weird, I guess. But like I just run a regular tap system because it works, So I'm actually working on doing a different style of tap system because I don't like how they wrap completely around you, but I
Yep.
still want to be able to hold a good amount of mags, because I still to this day I still don't understand, and good on everybody for running those micro rigs, but I don't know what 3 mags is going to do for me. And normally if I'm running 3 mags, we have an issue. So, but yeah, man.
Yeah. And like, I think you kind of touched on it, and I'll say it because I have nothing at stake, right? Like, if you're asking one of these guys to make you something that already exists, I think the reason why you're asking for it, and you should probably stop. Like, you're not going to get it cheaper through one of you guys. If that's the
Yeah.
goal, like, you're wrong. And then, if the stuff's not in stock, it's not in stock. Like, I don't know. Don't
Right.
ask for
And
stuff that already exists.
look, I'm about it. I'm about everybody, having I like business, right? So I'm about everybody having their own business thing and doing their thing, and why they do it, why they short stock. I don't know. I mean, it's a good marketing scheme. But if you take the micro rig again, if you want a micro rig, but it's never in stock by your favorite brand, find a small guy, and I guarantee you he's making them. It's probably a little bit better. And if it's not better, he's probably not on the Tailor Raid page. So I mean, there's plenty of dudes building micro rigs. There's plenty of dudes building good slings. There's plenty, like all the things that you see sold out or not in stock. There's dudes making them. You just have to put out the money to to get that quality piece. So I would suggest broadening your horizons. Go on Tailor Raid, check it out. Find a guy you trust. Look through a bunch of different profiles, and then see which one you like the most.
Speaking of a bunch of profiles, do you know off the top of your head how many different builders you've got on Tailor Raid now?
I might be able to tell you in a hot second. give me 1 second. I can tell you there's like 32 so far. There's like 32 OGs, and those are the homies that if you ask for something, 32 people are being asked at the same time. 32 other entities are being asked at the same time. So we have 69 posts. We did the auction, give or take, maybe 5 or 6 other posts. I would say we probably have around 50 small business tailors on there, and it ranges from gear, if a needle goes through a material, they're on there. So it's gear, clothing. What else would it be? I think we have some laser guys, some guys that make patches on there.
Okay.
So also, like, food for thought, right? So if dudes want a special custom kit, like, make it custom to yourself. Don't just come in there and say, hey, I want a rig. Like, so for the customer, right? If you're gonna buy a micro rig, get cool with it and be like, hey, I want this here and this here, because dude doesn't want to do the same micro rig over and over and over again. He wants something cool, especially
Yeah.
if it's not like a military thing. Like, it's like you're going to do some airsoft stuff, or you want something for your home. Like, get cool with it. Yeah, ask for some cool fabrics. Like, get weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's boring doing the same grid pattern over and over and over again. Ask Han how that's going for him. He's seeing grid every day
Yeah.
from
And
DNC.
we talked about that a little bit last week about
Yeah,
how if you're going down that road, like, and I think he's probably doing it better than most as far as just the having fun with the gear.
yeah,
Like, he has just some wild stuff. But you're absolutely right. Like, if you're not getting it specifically for a uniform professional use, do something fun with it,
yeah.
and make
And
it
then
unique.
also, yeah, and then also, like, pro tip: don't come to a custom builder and say, "Hey, can you make this for X amount of dollars?" Just see what, just tell them what your project is and see what the price is. Like, there's nobody on the Tailor A page looking to weasel $5 to $10 out of you. Like, if one dude's doing it, somebody else will do it. So shop around.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the most annoying thing, because then you basically tell me what I'm worth. So don't tell dudes what they're worth. Just let them give you the price of how much it's going to cost them. They're going to give you an honest assessment. If they don't, go somewhere else. But again, the dudes on TailorAid, and I keep saying it, are good, solid dudes who have been vetted by the rest of us. And if they're not, they wouldn't be on that page. So, and
Yeah.
we're always looking for more. So just because they're not on this, they're not on the page, doesn't mean they're not solid dudes. It's just we haven't reached out to them, or they haven't reached out to us. It's kind of like the Freemasons. You got to ask, and then we vote, and then there's like it's fun. The way you get brought into that place is the way Paul and I put it out there. It's pretty fun, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And if
You'd
you're
have to
listening,
ask the other guys.
if you're listening to this and you know somebody that would be appropriate for Tailor Raid, like, absolutely send that in.
For
Um,
sure.
because I mean, 50, 50 vendors in one spot, like, is such a time saver.
Yeah, it's an Instagram shot show, really, and like, future plans for it is like, we're gonna try to put together like a shot show, because there's people like myself who actually have a job, and I can't just leave here to go be in Las Vegas for a weekend and get the flu and the HIV and whatever else they get at shot show.
Yeah.
So we built the Discord. I put the Discord together, and for everybody on here that's listening and is like, the Discord is all jacked, dude, I am 33 years old. I could barely work my phone. I'm trying. Give me a bit. I'm going through YouTube and trying to figure out how to run it. But yeah, so like, we built the Discord around that, and that's another good avenue, because there's some dudes that, they're not a real, not, I don't want to say they're not a real company, but they don't have a tax ID number. They don't have a website, but they're still on there and they make good products. There's a dude on there right now. He still will not answer me. I don't know what his deal is. YT, if you're watching this, I'm getting you. Anyway, but solid gear's been putting out, and you could go on there and ask some dude for, hey, would you make this for me? And there's a lot of new dudes who are looking to get into it. So if you're willing to take that chance on somebody and say, hey man, I have this project, why don't you make this for me? You might get a little bit cheaper because the dude's practicing. I mean, I still do that today. Like, I'm about customer base, so this is just fun money to me.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. I'm about supporting the customer, and like, getting cool stuff out. So
Yeah, I like you mentioning taking the chance on guys. Like that's one of the cool things when I find somebody that I haven't seen before and they have, you know, 150, 200 followers or something like that. Like if bouncing your obscure idea off of those guys can end up being really fun. Um,
yeah,
and even if you
and it could benefit him too, right?
exactly, yeah,
So it's a win-win for everybody. It really is. But yeah, man, I definitely think the Discord is huge. That's like a big thing coming. If you guys, if your followers or your viewers saw the charity auction or were part of that, that's going to be like, I don't know if we're going to do monthly, but we're going to do something fun. The next one's going to be a little rowdy, and I'm sure the guys that are, because I told the dudes and everybody knows. I don't know who's watching this, but some of the dudes are probably watching it, and they're probably gritting their teeth because the next charity rules are a little bit weird. So, but they're going to be fun. I promise. They will be cool, and we would like to make it. You know, like those big guy name things getting sold on eBay for $400 a patch. Like we would like the charity auctions to get to that point where dudes know, hey, we're doing something good for people, and like most of us, all the money's going. I didn't take personally me. I can't talk for everybody else, but I know a few other ones who didn't take a dime from it. The plus I added money towards it because I'm about like St. Jude. I already donate to them anyway, so it's sweet. I'm and to be able to connect a customer who may have not have known about a certain charity, they get a pouch out of the deal. And yeah, dude, you just spent. I think the one dude spent $175 on a pouch, but like in reality, it's going to an awesome cause. Like nobody's picking out weird causes. Like it's perfect. It's like the perfect thing, and it was that the auction actually all started out on like a weird joke about somebody getting a cease and desist. So we decided that we were going to sell stuff, uh, against it because I think, I think people have a misnomer about what Tailor is. They think it's something like that we're all trying to take over the world or something. I don't know, but the DMs are wild, man. Like they think we're like trying to take over Pharaoh, and I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're just some dudes trying to get everybody some likes and some followers. And that's the other thing, like, support the cause, man. Like if you have something from these guys, like the biggest thing you could do to help, and it costs no money at all. The biggest thing you can do to help is go through the profile, open every post, and whoever's tagged on that, click their thing and hit follow. That
yep,
takes zero effort. You're already on your phone and it costs you no money and you're supporting the small business. Like it can't get any better than that. And then when you're using some of their equipment, tag them in the post, like post it, tag them, use the hashtag sow and raid. Hell, if you're out and you don't have any of our kit, but you want to use the hashtag sow and raid, like that's cool because that's just going to get that analytics moving and get the
yep.
ball rolling for us. So that's basically, that's Tailor Reid wrapped up in a nutshell. I hope that helps.
To
But
recap the charity auction real quick, you hit most of
yeah,
it,
man,
but
for sure.
it if you guys are kind of coming late to the idea of Tailor Raid and you missed it, it ran yesterday until today. Handful of items from some of you guys, and they were all, as far as I could tell, they were all one-off items, not standard stocked items for the few of you that have standard items.
Yeah.
And bidding in $5 increments, and some of these things, like you said, $175 for a
Yeah.
pouch. I saw a patch go for last I saw it was $100. I don't know what it finished at.
I think the patch pocket
Yep.
thing. I mean, that's pretty big because that did not take long to get up there, and I think that's going to be one of his items. I'll have to talk to him about it, but yeah, like I think he sold it for $100. But again, it's like one of those things. Like you don't go to a charity auction and pay cost for stuff. You're going to pay over because you know it's going to the right place. I think we did a, to be honest, like to be fair to everybody, I think we did a good job. I think the next one's going to run a little bit more smooth. Super happy with the way the customer base took it. Like I know it wasn't perfect, and we appreciate like the support because we were it was kind of jumbled a little bit because I didn't really know how I wanted to run it, but I knew I had to run it or I wanted to run it, and then I think we set it up in like 2 weeks. So it was a pretty quick like throw together. And again, I hope everybody was satisfied with the way it all got hashed out. And basically, we really appreciate the support. It was good.
Yeah, it seemed like it went over super well.
Yeah.
You need some cool dudes in there too. I know Tough Possum gear was in there. Paul had
Yep.
something in there. You had something. Your pouch was pretty rad. I don't.
Yeah.
I never
Appreciate
figured
it.
out quite what it was, but it looked cool.
It's like what is it? I don't know. My wife's got the perfume. It's like is it Dunny and Burke or it's one of the, I don't know, one of the fancy things. I had a piece of the pleather laying around, and that's kind of what I put it together with that multicam black. It's just a regular pouch though, nothing too special.
Yep. Cool looking items though, and they were all unique. Like
Yeah.
definitely not something that you're going to be able to go pick up later on these dudes' sites or Instagram pages and
Right.
all neat stuff.
And with that said, I don't think anybody, if you lost and you really still wanted that, I don't think anybody is going to say no to it. And I think if you would price match the dude, I don't want to talk for everybody else, but if you're like, hey, John, I want that pouch again, I would probably make something to that effect and then do the same thing, just donate it out because again, I'm about it. I like the charity thing. I like showing that the community, everybody's worried about the 2A community. I guess you could probably put us in that little funnel.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about us like doing some weird craziness, and the way the world's working right now, dude. We just need to there needs to be more positive than negative, and I think that showed a pretty positive light. It wasn't a bunch of hate for whatever was going on in the world. It was just some dudes who have good gear and then pushing out to charities that they support. So
yep.
I think that's a pretty solid plan.
Yeah. And that last part, we kind of alluded to, but I don't know if we really made it super black and white, but each vendor picked their own charity.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool because that's another step on learning about these guys on a human level. Like, oh, what's important to this guy, and even if that's not the charity you would have picked, like that's them saying, hey, this is what I'm about, and that's pretty cool.
It's funny because like in a marketing stance, right? You could almost kind of see like even if I was bidding, right, I would have looked at the charity more than I would have looked at the pouch, right? So the pouch is just an extra. It's like, cool, I got this, but the charity is more important in the grand scheme of things. So it was cool looking at it a marketing standpoint by saying, did people bid because they like the pouch or did they bid because they like the charity? So that's something we're trying to figure out. It's going to be like it'll probably be in a poll, like a story poll, like is the charity more important or is the pouch more important? And then I think next run we may just pick it like as a group, just pick a charity to put money towards because any amount of money is great, but it'd be cool to see Tailor Raid, send a check out for X amount of dollars to a certain charity. But I think it was it was definitely a first. I haven't seen an auction done on Instagram.
No, I haven't either. That was neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've talked about Tailor Raid, which is you trying to help the community, right? And the auction, which is expanding that good deed. Let's talk a little bit about your business specifically, Air Overland, right? And
yes. So Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How did that get started, and what kinds of things are you into, I should say?
So Air Overland started last year. A bunch of my buddies have meme pages, and oddly enough, I had some connections with some dudes that made stickers. ROE Graphics, if you're looking for stickers, check them out. He's a good dude, Air Force guy down in Florida. Great guy, actually. So a bunch of meme pages came to me and said, hey, we would like to do this. And we did a charity, actually. We did a charity for St. Jude. And it was, I think we raised over $3,000 selling stickers.
Oh, cool.
Which is insane, right? So that was a big highlight. And I felt like the business could grow from there. Because I don't want to just sell stickers on Instagram. That's not a thing. So a few years ago, at the 82nd, I had an Alice pack, and everybody knows the Alice pack. You could make it to what you want. You just have to add pouches. So I ended up adding a bunch of pouches myself because I like having a hand in, like, I like being crafty, I guess, if you will. So I went out and bought a sewing machine and just added pouches. And I think that's where most dudes start out. Like, there's gear that they want, they can't afford it. So, is it more cost effective to buy an $80 piece of gear, or is it more cost effective to buy a $80 sewing machine and learn how to do it yourself if you can, right?
Right.
Or if you want to. And started putting my own pouches on bags, did it for a few other guys, made some kidney pads for the bag. Kind of like put that away, never picked it up back up. And then this year I decided the plan was to run Air Overland as just like a storefront that veterans and active duty guys who make gear or produce a shirt, whatever they do, and basically every monthly, just do a run of their thing, but with an Air Overland kick to it. So
cool.
like my thing is, crazy patterns like this. So you get something like that inside your pouch, or hidden away. So everything looks super tactical until you open your admin pouch and it's loaded with llamas. So I think that's fun because, like, especially in our line of work, every once in a while you just need a little bit of like, this is nice, and then go back to business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that aspect of it. So I ended up doing the first one with Trident Edge. We did a wallet that was like a Louis Vuitton wallet. It was like a one-off design that me and the guys made. Also, if you want leather products, go see Trident Edge. They're awesome dudes. We did that, and that was successful. And then from there, I ended up picking up another sewing machine and started messing around and made some things, got some things out to some buddies. And the next thing was with Free State Gear. Also great dude. We did dump pouch with the snack pack inside of it, and that had that actual lining in it, which was pretty cool. And that did pretty well. And I mean, it's just been taken off pretty good. I think right now I got a pretty solid base of customers that are down to support. Like, I haven't got it as bad as those other dudes that are on the page who, obviously once you gain popularity, it turns into how can I haggle this guy out of more money because they think you are a huge company, when in reality it's a dude in a shed out back.
Yep.
And that sucks for them. So right now I can't think. I literally will handwrite most of my shipments going out. There's a handwritten tag in there just because I appreciate the customer base so much. And I think customers, are so, like, for most businesses, and I'm not in our realm, but like Amazon, you're not going to get a handwritten letter. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You're just a customer with money. And I think that brings back the good point of, what we were talking about earlier. When you buy from these small dudes, they care about their product and they care about you. And that's the same thing. Like it's super cool seeing my phone blow up when a new product drops. Like that's a huge highlight for me. And I think it's very cool seeing your work. Somebody appreciates your work to the point that they want to buy it. And that's what drives me. And then being able to be with the customer and being personal with the customer using like the Instagram platform, or hell, I mean, I had dudes call me, email me. I just don't think you're going to get that you don't get that customer feedback, and you don't get that customer relationship with these bigger companies.
Yeah.
So I just keep building back up. And like you've seen before, this is my new baby. Oh, that thing is sweet. So that's my new one. Just got that today. I'm pretty stoked about it. And I know the guy, it was like I had a child today or something. Like I sent him a picture of it. Everybody's excited. Like it's a pretty big deal. So I'm super stoked. And if that says anything about, the customer support I had, like I wouldn't be able to buy something like that if I didn't have the customer support and all the friends that have been helping me out and like giving me ideas. Some really, really good things out there, man. And I think in this day and age, like people just are missing the good that's out there.
Yeah.
So if anything, people need to find the good, and in Tailor Raid, you're going to find a lot of good dudes who want to get you quality stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's something to be said too, right? Because like, I think of all the people I've talked to so far, Han is the only one that admits to doing this full time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to find somebody that has a job and doesn't need to make gear, but wants to make gear and wants to make gear for you, like that's cool too, right? Because like
Yeah.
you can, it's exactly what you said. You can go to Amazon, you can buy anything you want, and you can have it 2 days from now, worst case, and it's
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
But like Amazon doesn't care that you bought it. I mean, they appreciate the money, but if you don't buy it, somebody else is going to. Whereas if you go to you
Yep.
guys, like you are giving somebody a project that wants your project and
Mm-hmm.
wants you as a customer, which is
Exactly.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think with I can't say it enough. I think you're getting a better product, and even some of these bigger companies, and I won't say their name, you're still getting a good product that they care about, and they care about their dudes.
Yeah.
They care about their customer. Don't get me wrong, like you don't have to go to the guy in the backyard. We would love you to, you know what I mean? You're going to get that. You'll get a better relationship, customer to owner relationship, when you go to those guys. Accusations.
Yeah.
Copycat here? Oh man, here we go.
I'll let you throw your opinion on this one because I got no dog in the fight.
Yeah, so copycat gear, right? Or cloning. I mean, so if you hate it, you call it copycatting or cheating or whatever. If you're down with it, you call it cloning. Um, So I would love to meet the guy who made the first mag pouch, because I'm sure he's really pissed that everybody's copying his stuff. Like it's so silly because to me, and somebody might get mad. I don't know. This is just me personally, not the Tailor Raid. It's not Air Overland. This is me personally. I just think that when you make gear, and the guys we have all talked about it, obviously, because it comes up a lot. Cease and desist orders, all this other craziness. I get it, man. Some people are living off this, and when you do copy their stuff, it takes a customer away. So let's be honest right up front, that it happens, right? But what makes your product better than the other guy's product? One, and then two, what what have you done to build that customer base to the point where they're not going to go to another person, right? So I would, if you're worried about dudes copying you, I would say worry about your customers more. Because say I make a dump pouch that, I don't know, has Wi-Fi in it and somebody else does it. I would hope that my customer base would, you know, would re would respect the company, and keep buying from me. And then I would hope that I've given enough and done enough and my quality is far better than the other guy. So to me, people aren't buying clone gear from small businesses because they're, because they want to stick it to the big business. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's why they do
I
it. That's
I
cool too.
I think there's definitely
But
a portion of the community that's doing that, but not to
yeah, but
digress.
yeah, but I think the other thing is, half these dudes, and again, it might be their business model, but keep stuff in stock. Don't make your customers wait, months on end before you restock a product that this dude in the shed out back is making in 2 weeks. So clone gear, copycat gear, buy the company, don't buy the product, if that makes any sense. And then understand that every product is based off of products beforehand. So every piece of it, and there's people I believe that genuinely come to our guys and come to us and say, "Hey, dude, like we're kind of dealing with one right now." There's a guy that he might think that his kit is like super the cat's meow. It's all new. It's designed by him, but there's four other dudes in the chat that make the same exact thing. Did he genuinely think that it was his gear? Yeah, maybe. Maybe he just saw, like he saw somebody wearing something that was what he, again, back to this micro rig because everybody's making them, right? So, and that's basically what we're talking about right now. So he might have saw in his peripheral this micro rig and it just got put in his brain box for a little bit. And like 2 months later, he has this epiphany that he wants to make this kit that's super small and super tight and super compact and it does all this stuff. But in reality, it's already being made, right? So goes back to the, if you think you have an idea, shop around and see if the idea is already being made. And then also, I can't highlight this enough, but buy the business, don't buy the product, if that makes sense. So when I buy from, there's 1,000 people that make different shirts, t-shirts. Are they all clones? Are they all copycats? No, they're just, but I'm buying a Carhartt because I like Carhartt's design. I like Carhartt's background. I like what they stand for. So buy from a company that you like what they stand for. That just my opinion. It's never going to go away. I don't think there's not enough money. These big businesses aren't going to throw money at a small shop like us and try to stop it. I don't think anyway. I haven't seen it happen. Maybe they do. But again, buy from the company, not the actual product, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Damian, you said big draw to clone gear, in my opinion, is pattern, options, and availability.
Yeah.
So in my own mental gymnastics on the issue, because I have differing opinions at different times, I guess, pattern availability is kind of where I typically like to kind of hang my hat on that issue, right? Like I have an ABU micro rig from Roman over in Czech Republic or wherever he's from, right? Nobody makes an ABU micro rig like that. That sale wasn't stolen from anybody.
Right.
If you can get it from the company that makes it and it's in a pattern that they make, I'm not the hugest fan of getting it from somebody else. But what I'll do is I'll say, hey, I kind of like this concept, but if I'm going to have to buy these 13 pieces to make it work the way I want to make it work, maybe I can just get it configured that way from the get-go and
Yeah.
find that existing idea and have it made better, right? Which is a little bit what we were talking about before we went live is 2021, somebody has probably made your idea before. Um, but does that mean it's not your idea? Like there's some innocence that goes behind some of this double dipping, if you will.
Right. And with that, like, so gear and you're talking about patterns right now. Just browsing through the chat, like multicam is literally impossible to find right now, in bulk form, in yard form, right? Is that the big companies buying up multicam? I don't know. Is it the man taking down us? I don't know. But yeah, dude, I think if you're going, again, there's plenty of good dudes making clone gear, but they're not. It's not like you're retagging it. It's still being stitched by that dude,
Yeah.
so it's not 100% clone, and it may be the same dimensions. I don't know. I don't have everybody's kit, but it might not even be the same dimensions. And then again, to me, I just think I personally, I don't understand the whole why everybody gets upset with it, because I make a t-shirt that has my logo on it. People are buying it because they want to support the company and they want to support my ideal, or my ideas. Um, and I think that's what you're getting. Some people just don't want to support a big company that has really cool, flashy Instagram ads and such. They want to support the dude who lives down the road who makes that kit. So I think when you're buying clone gear, you're buying the company. You're not buying. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's that big of a deal to me personally. People might hate it, but that's just me.
No worries
I'm
there.
not going to be making micro rigs out of here. I can tell you that it's not happening, because again, I don't. To me, I'm not a big fan of them. I think they have their place, but I like multi-use stuff, so I'd rather have something I could use while doing my personal career, and then I could use it at the house. So I'm a big fan of like multiple use things. If I'm going to spend $150 on a piece of equipment, it better do more than just hang in my closet until that fate day comes and we got to defend the country. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, with 3 mags, I don't know what you're doing. 3 mags
Yeah.
and 8 tourniquets without medical, whatever. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. The fake day is not
Also,
coming. Good
also
point
pro
there.
tip, continue buying gear and continue buying stuff, but ammo and gear ain't going to get you through anything. You need training too. So I would, and then also with that said, I would also look into, who makes some good first aid kits. Because I think that's kind of like, dudes are getting IFAKs. And if people don't know what an IFAK is, it's just an individual, first aid kit, not a multi-use. And, there's some dudes out there. Me and a few medic buddies are working on like a bigger bag for you and your family, because I don't know about you, but I want to protect everybody who I love. So I don't need an IFAK. I need either a bunch of IFAKs or one good medical bag. So that's the plan.
Yep. And yeah, Damien, your last comment there, talking about buying from Han and supporting someone local, getting it in a pattern not available. Like, yeah, that's right where we're talking about. So
For sure, man. Good job.
plus
We
he's doing it
appreciate the
full
support.
time. So
Yeah. So I think Han is, YMI, just started up full time this year, I believe.
okay,
There's a few other dudes. Basically, And again, they're just personal dudes, so they're not gonna like brush you off. But if you ask some of these guys like what they're if this is like their full time, they'll probably tell you. So if that's what you want to do, you're like, hey, I want to buy this fucking micro rig from somebody. Go find somebody that is doing it and that's their full time gig and help them out. Support the homies, dude. Support the homies.
So now that you've got your new sewing machine, what's the next big thing coming from your business?
Uh, so I really want to keep doing the collaborations
Okay.
because again, my thing is like the weird patterns. But for the most part, uh, while everybody else is sticking to, you know, hooking the regular civilian guys up, my plan, and it has always been my plan, is to just make gear that you could wear on the line, uh, and not have, your sergeant major or your leadership like run down your throat because you have this custom gear. Make it accessible to those dudes that need it the most, and then make it so it looks like it belongs. So basically, I think I want to do the tap system. Like I said, I just want to shorten that up a little bit and make it a little bit better. I think maybe then I'll be a clone dude for whoever makes the tap system for the U.S. Army. Um, so I would like to make a tap system that's not so janky, and most of the units they have to carry the big. I don't even know what they call them, Molly packs or whatever,
Okay.
the Molly Ruck. So I would like the sustainment pouches are trash. So I'd like to do something with that, like maybe some blowout bags for some sustainment pouches. But yeah, the rest of it I'd like to keep off the YouTube and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's some things cooking, but I definitely like customer feedback, and then all my buddies, we're all on the I mean, we do this for a living. You know what I mean? Like we need good gear for a living. So
Yep.
if it's coming out of my shop, it's been tested, it's been out in the field by infantry dudes, or it's been suggested by other infantry dudes, and we're testing it out. So it's true to form.
Very cool.
Yeah, man, super. So any I don't know what else we could hash out. I hope that
Uh,
helped the
no, yeah,
Tailor Aid situation.
for sure.
I, yeah, I think it's a good group of dudes, man, and they're definitely willing to put the time in, and most of them have. And then, like I said, my feedback to everybody is if people keep blowing you off about building your gear, then go out and get a sewing machine and learn how to do it. It's really not that difficult. You could do it with I got like a domestic Singer heavy duty in the house, and it was like, I don't know, $150. And I've made plenty of things with that. You don't have to go out and buy this thing. This thing just makes it way easier, but there's, it's not something you need to have. You can, especially if you're just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I was using a FAF like I don't know 15 years ago,
Yeah,
and
they're
sometimes you
sweet.
got to the point where you're like muscling that crank just to try to get the needle to go through.
Yep, changing needles every like 3 or 4 minutes just to keep it sharp to go through that much material. Yep, I've been there.
Yeah,
I was there. I was there 24 hours ago.
yeah,
Now I can just ram through stuff. That's
yeah.
I'm so pumped about that thing. It's sweet. It is so cool.
Damien's asking
Yeah,
if you know how much the charity raised.
I think, what do we figure out? It was like there's 10 dudes. I think pretty much everybody averaged. I'm gonna say average was about $70 for all 10. So probably around, and the math isn't gonna work out, but in my head, probably around five to $600. And I say that because some of them were under the $70 mark. So I would say probably $500 to $600. And then for the next charity, like I said, it's It's going to be pretty wild. The pattern is going to be wild. I should say that. It's going to be something that it's a you have to have a taste for it, I guess you could say.
What would
I
be neat?
haven't got too much pushback. What's
You
that?
you could go like you could harness your inner like Guy Fieri and buy like a couple of yards of just goofy fabric and like, all right,
Yep.
guys, if you want to play in the charity, you have to incorporate this somehow in the item.
And I think that's what it's gonna turn out to be. Still got to talk to everybody. Everybody's kind of still just figuring out how this last one went. If it was worth doing, I think it was. But I think it's gonna become like one of those things where Paul and I construe some kind of crazy thing, and it just becomes a competition to see who can make the coolest piece. You know what I mean? And
That
then
would be
who can
awesome.
raise the most money. There's one thing I could say right now, as of right now, Tailor Raid will not become a business. It won't become like a website anywhere. Everything that we do is going to be based off of the group. It's group consensus. I don't own any part of it. People can leave. People can come as they go. Um, but I think that's what makes it cool, because it's a community. Everybody has ownership in it, and with that said, everything that if you see something for sale on Tailor Raid, it's either going towards a bigger purchase for the group, as in we're talking about doing some shirts. We want to do some shirts with some cool sayings, maybe some sewing machines on the back, the Tailor Raid logo, and then I think that like the shirts and the product, the merchandise for Tailor Raid will go back into helping us buy more product to make more stuff. And then because obviously for people that don't understand, the more yards you buy at a time, the cheaper it gets. So you have 30 dudes in the project. If everybody buys a certain amount of yardage, we all get it pretty cheap. um, with that said, like these charity events will continue running. Like regardless of the shirts and everything else, we will continue doing charity events. And then once that becomes not cool to whoever is in it, then they could see their way out. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. There's so many solid dudes. I can't say enough. Like I I don't I can't say enough good things about the group of dudes that are in that chat. Super helpful. A lot of great mentorship going on. Um, yeah, it's just, I mean, you can just imagine it's a bunch of dudes like us just hanging out in a chat room making gear. And that pushes everybody to make better gear,
Yeah, that would be kind of
which is,
neat to see TaylorMade kind of turn into a little bit of a co-op, right? To help guys
yeah,
get material, because I know material is rough right now.
yeah,
Um,
it really is. And we do it. We do it already. I mean, we have some guys who are like big in the game, so they're already buying a bunch. So just having they bulk buy and then sell out um, through the chat, which helps them out because sometimes they don't need as much as they bought, but they got the price down for it.
yeah,
Um, but with that said, like the Discord is available, and everybody that's not everybody that's in the chat, but most of the guys that are in the chat that are in the background of Tailor Raid are in the Discord. So if you're really interested in getting into this stuff, like hit the Discord up. And I have yet to see anybody like push you aside because you had a question. Like there's uh Han is like probably one of the best dudes out there for mentorship. Like he does not give a crap. You're like, hey man, what's the best way to do this? And he will send you that book he showed you.
yeah,
I probably knew him, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and he was helping me with my older machine that I had. And then he was like, "Hey, check these out. Cut these patterns this way, and fold it in this way." I mean, like crazy, you know, like you're not going to get that anywhere else. And if you want to support some dudes, those are the dudes you should be supporting.
Yeah.
Good dudes.
No, I mean, you can tell what kind of dude he is just based on his Instagram stories. Like 3/4 of what he
Yeah.
shares isn't even his stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's
Yep.
reposting everybody's stuff. It's pretty neat to see.
And that goes with confidence, right? So he's confident enough in his customer base that he's not worried about dudes pulling customers. And I think that's what's great about this Tailor Aid thing is like we all do the same thing. We all make gear, but we're all on that page. And, you know, Paul and I try to make a conscious effort every day to go through everybody's, feed and share their stuff. So, like, our story normally has a pretty good amount of like everybody else's stuff on there.
Yep.
So, if you can't find it on there, I don't know where you're going to find it. I really don't, because we have dudes as low as myself, like just starting up, and we have dudes that are like have been in the industry for years and have thousands of followers. So it's pretty awesome.
Yep. Yeah, and purely selfish reasons. Like I appreciate Tailor Raid because I don't have to dig quite as deep to try to find new guys to do
Yeah.
videos for. So makes my life
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. You just got to hit us up. Like,
Yep.
hey, man, can we do this? And I'm about it, dude. As soon as you said something, I'm like, yeah, because I believe in what we built Tailor Aid to do. And the charity auction just put the icing on the cake, really.
Yep.
I didn't know how everybody was going to pick up on that, and as soon as it was mentioned, everybody was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's get weird with it." I mean, there's some dudes that I think stay in the background, and that's cool too. But they still have a voice in a voice in the matter anyway. So, yeah,
Very cool. Well,
yeah, man,
it's getting late for you, and
yeah, dude.
the way I've been wrapping these up is asking for suggestions for who you would like to see on the next week's episode, if you've
Oh
got
my
any.
god, you had Paul on, you had Han on. Do you have why am I on?
Why am I? Hit me up. He may be the next one.
He should be him, or I mean, if you get Tracer on it, it'd be pretty cool. He's a goofball. I'd like to see what he has to do. He'd probably be one of those dudes wearing a mask or something.
Yeah.
He's cool like that.
Yep.
He's got some stuff going, and he if you want to talk about getting into industry standard, that dude he's got some stuff going for him. I think that those with the Van tongue, the shoe tongues, man. That was the ticket, man. He found the golden ticket on that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But he's got some really great stuff coming out, and I always bust him on how good his advertisement is. He always has like some kind of cool advertisement. I don't know how he does it, but whatever.
Yeah. He's like
Yeah,
he's right at that level where I don't know if I could get him on because he's killing it and he's got a good
yeah.
follower base. So
I'll put a good word in for you. Like he's good. Tough Possum's cool. He'd be cool.
I like Tough Possum stuff a lot. He's got some neat
Wendigo is
kit.
pretty cool. I think they're Canadian.
Yeah,
They're a good group.
I was working with them trying to get them scheduled, and because there's 3 of them, it was a little tricky.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I don't want to not say the right one. I mean, I already gave you like enough, but
Yeah.
Earthseed Equipment is really cool.
Okay.
You know who else? You know who else is really coming up is VXV Concepts.
Yep.
He's got some pretty cool stuff. I'm sure he would be down. But yeah, man, we appreciate it. Like the first time, I think somebody said, or you came in and you were like, "Hey, how can I get in on this?" And I was like, "Well, you so." And you're like, I think I put you in the chat because it was like brand new, and I don't know how you even found out about it. And so you came in, and then I was like, dude, you got to go because I thought you were sewing. And
Yep.
I said, I asked about you, and everybody said, yeah, good dude for the community. So what you're doing is good for us. So that's awesome. We appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
And then the other thing, I don't know if I've asked everybody this, but parting dad advice, if you've got anything.
Parting dad advice. Oh my gosh. Um, be harder than you think you need to be. I don't. I've these kids, man. They're growing up in a very, for me, from what I've seen, and like being a drill sergeant, I can tell you straight up, these kids are growing soft, and the world does not care. So, with that, build an independent kid. Don't make him rely on you, and I think you'll do well. Everybody kind of knows. You kind of just fall into it, and however they you can be the best parent at the end of the day. They're still their own person, so
Yeah.
they'll just do what they want. Mine's 6, going on like 15. She's doing weird TikTok dances, like going through the kitchen. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You need to get her life together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Kids are weird for sure. My 8-year-old, I was learning about air defense, right? And like how to beat it. And I told him that I was learning about it. And he's like, "Oh, I already know." And I was like, "What do you mean you already know?" And he explained like start to finish like the Wild Weasel mission and like how to how to beat
it's
Sam. So I was
pretty
like, all right.
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I
Well,
don't know where you learned that from, but
yeah,
sweet.
man. And they're growing up so quickly now with the new age, like all the technology. Like my daughter could probably work my iPad better than I could. So she's awesome. But yeah, I would suggest be a little harder than you think you need to be, and they'll grow up independent, and that's
All right.
cool. Yeah, man. Hey,
What?
so I know you have a lot of military dudes on here,
Yeah.
so or probably following. If you need it, go get fucking help, man. Mental health is like big advocate on like suicide prevention and like getting help. I'm an infantry dude, and there's plenty of us going to seek help. So, and the dudes in to the chair to the left and right of us are the coolest of coolest guys that you'll ever meet, and they're still finding help. So, if you think you're too cool, I don't know what's going on. You're just gonna hurt yourself in the end. So go get a help.
No, that's really good advice, and I think we're finally getting better at making that the norm, but we're not there
Yeah.
yet. And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think leaders are finally stepping up. You know, personally myself, I've like went and got help. It is what it is, and what's good for it is now my dudes under me have can see that, and they're like, well, if he's gonna do it, I mean, I feel like they respect me enough that if they need to do it, they would go do it. So
Yeah,
just go get help.
that last part is absolutely key. If you as a leader are afraid to get help, you're never going to fix the
Yeah.
stereotype. So
Yep.
no, super good advice, and I appreciate you bringing
For
that up.
sure. Yeah, man.
But I really appreciate your time. I know it's
Yeah,
late
dude.
there, and sorry we couldn't squeeze this in before the auction, but it seemed like a smashing success without it. So
Yeah, it's
my 12 viewers aren't going to fix that, but
yeah,
I
it's cool, man.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate what you're doing. Right, as soon as I saw Tailor Raid, I was like, "This is an awesome project."
Yeah.
And
It's a cool little child that me and Paul are raising raising slowly. I'm just waiting for it to implode. It hasn't imploded yet. The chat, like pretty much everybody likes each other. So I think the Discord's gonna implode before the chat does.
yeah,
So we'll see. Somebody
yeah.
will call each other a clone or something.
No, you got solid dudes in there that are doing good things and
Appreciate it.
making everybody better for it. So
Yes. Great
it's
dudes, for sure.
yeah. But thanks
All right,
again.
man.
Really appreciate it, and I hope both aspects are a wild success for you, and that new
For
sewing
sure.
machine works out great. So,
Yeah. That's beautiful.
all right, thanks, man.
Super pumped. Thanks, dude.